It's under 80 some odd degrees in here, and it goes up in the late afternoon. So I'm thinking, hey, that's up. I'm thinking that this maybe could connect or something like that. You just come out and individually. They don't have a callback number to check on anything. It's frustrating. You know, and you're still young. Here, particularly for breakfast, and this one lady had a knee replacement. She almost had her knee scary as crap. It really is. I don't know if that was the answer. It's scary, John. You've been in the military. You know how that feels. I don't think you didn't listen today, did you? I mean, look at this. If you were an officer, yeah? Now, can you qualify? No, but I mean, could you qualify for rank as an officer? The greatest economy, everybody working, and we were energy sufficient. Now, what the hell was wrong with that? John, you're going to like my 4th of July salute to America. I don't, yes. If you see it, you're going to go. Because I have a picture of the Statue of Liberty with a flag. And let me bring this up real quick. Here it is. Okay, I have a picture of the Statue of Liberty rigged with a flag with a cross in the end. When fascism comes to America, it was wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. Sinclair Lewis, 1935. And then, of course, I have a picture of Reagan, and it's a Reagan speech. And it's like I say, don't say anything. It just comes on, and Reagan starts talking. And then when he's done, I go to Sandy Patty's God Bless America conclusion. I hope that will excite some people. What does NASA say here? Oh, we can't hear this. Anything I touch on this control panel or the audio will screw everything up. Now, do you have two screens or one? Did you, I sent you something for your podcast about the longest launch delays. Did you start seeing that? That's pretty cool. Think about this. STA. No. Maybe she thought, no, I said her no, said no. Maybe she just saw it come up. And if you can explain to her that we did not want to try anything different, try to get down here. That's it. We just do it simple, keep it simple without trying any difficulty this morning. We'll work on it later, type thing. Okay? I think she'll understand. I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay. I'm rehearsing. Just minutes from now, United Airlines team will find Boeing Starliner Really? What do you say? Very nice. What time do they tomorrow, Starliner. Now, let's see. I don't have, what time is it? Starship? The Starship, right? What time? If they have to reschedule tomorrow, the Starliner, it's at 10 a.m. Isn't that interesting? No, 10:29. I'm sorry, 10:29 a.m. It's just after. Is that a coincidence? Uh-huh. Well, like I say, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to bring up the longest launch delays. And of course, the first one was STS-61C. It was a six-day delay from January the 12th to 1986 with current NASA Administrator Bill Nelson on his new spacecraft. The next one, is STS November to October with Ken Bowers as commander. Emerson's third flight. And finally, in the Apollo missions, it was 1972, Apollo 16. Don Young is dead. I think, I don't know, I don't think Charlie Duke is dead though. No. I think he died last year. I think so. Picture of the rocket in the countdown. Is that what you have? can you see the bottom of the whole screen there? Right, see where my mouse is? Right there? Oh, yeah, but I don't want them under while I'm doing the broadcast right now. How do we can we just shut that off and turn it off? Okay. I guess when we go on live, when I go live, I don't want them talking under me if we don't have to. Okay.
Coming to you live from Florida's Space Coast, it's About Space Today. And here's your host about space, David Denault.
Welcome, and thanks for joining our coverage today of Boeing's Starliner flight crew test. In just minutes from now, the United Launch Alliance team will fire the booster on their Atlas V rocket, and we will put 2 astronauts into orbit and eventually dock with the International Space Station on an 8-day mission. And this is the 5th launch attempt or date announced within a month. If the mission goes as planned, NASA may well certify Boeing's crew transportation system for flights to and from the International Space Station and with astronauts. Now, it's been a long journey for NASA, 3 years to get to this point, but today they say they are ready. Welcome back. We want to mention today that the longest launch delays let's go back to the days of the space shuttle. The first one was STS-61C. It was delayed in January from the 12th to the 18th in 1986 with now current administrator Bill Nelson on board, and that was his only space mission. And the next one was the STS-73, and that was the delay was October to November in 1995 with Ken Bowersox, the commander of that flight. That was his third mission, and now he is a NASA administrator. And going back to the Apollo missions, the longest delay, 6 days, was going back to Apollo 16 in 1972 with John Young, Charlie Duke, and Ken Mattingly. And the first launch attempt, by the way, was for the Starliner, was July the 30th, 2021, and we did cover that in the early morning hours. But we're just minutes away from the launch of Starliner, and things are continuing to go well. And we will be back with our coverage as America and the world is listening to About Space Today. D&D Cruise and Tours is the official agent for About Space, and we invite you to come fly away to all-inclusive resort island destinations, or a cruise vacation from Port Canaveral, and even visit the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, or just come and see the parks. Call for a discount cruise or an island getaway or the Florida beaches. Call today. The call is free, and so are our services. Call 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. We are Florida's group travel specialists. Ever dream of an island getaway at an all-inclusive resort? Or going on an island-hopping cruise to multiple island destinations? See sun-bleached beaches and swim in the azure waters of the Caribbean Sea. Call today for your special discount prices to your island getaway. This is a special offer for About Space by calling 877-747-8631. And let's go and explore the islands of the Caribbean. Welcome back. The countdown is continuing. We're at about 17 minutes and 55 seconds at this point. And would like to just briefly introduce you to the crew if you have not been following the mission too much. We'll go to our slide. The left there is Sunny Williams. She is a seasoned astronaut as well as the commander of the mission, Butch Wilmore. They are both been on the shuttle program. They've flown on the Soyuz. They have seasoned spacewalkers as well. So there was some discussion early on about them maybe doing a little spacewalk or so to help out the station. That's still a possibility. So it will be exciting to watch in the next, as they launch today, this 8-day mission will have a lot of firsts. This is, again, an opportunity to focus maybe a little bit on where they're launching from. It is not the traditional launch pads that you've seen with SpaceX over on Launch Complex 39 on the Kennedy Space Center. They are actually launching from the Space Force Station on Cape Canaveral itself. So it's been about 61 years since we've actually had a manned space mission launch from Cape Canaveral. I guess the crew patch should be of interest to a lot of folks as well. This is a very simple crew patch as we look at it here. It has the initial CFT, the crew flight test, the space station in the background, and of course, Starliner, and the names of the astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams on there, and the astronaut star. So we are watching now. It looks like along the causeway, at 528 Causeway, and along the beaches, there's a pretty good crowd sitting out there getting ready to watch the historic launch today. And I want to switch over just a second as we've got about 16 minutes right now to go to launch. I had an opportunity to talk with the crew while they were in quarantine in the crew quarters. And here's my interview.
We're continuing to take some questions on our phone bridge. Our next one comes from David Denault with the outlet About Space Today.
First, let me wish you Godspeed on your mission. And next, I guess people would say, well, you've been there, you've done that, but what is new and unique for each of you about this mission?
I think the better question might be, what's the same of the past ones? There's so much new. Everything is new. Everything's unique. The spacecraft itself, the way it flies. Both Sonny and I flown a capsule before, the Russian Soyuz. But this spacecraft, the Soyuz gets you to space and gets you back to Earth. But this spacecraft will do that. And again, like I said, with pinpoint accuracy in all of its modes. The Soyuz doesn't even do that. The Soyuz has a ballistic mode where basically it comes back in the atmosphere in a ballistic trajectory, meaning it's not really under control. But it lands 400 meters shy of the target. As an example, the space shuttle, of course, was a lifting body, and it's completely different than flying a capsule. It only lands on land, on a runway. So when you do your deorbit burn, you got one place that you can make it, and that's not the case with a capsule. The black zones on the shuttle, there were many what we call term black zones, where if you had specific failures in certain parts of the trajectory as you're, getting into orbit, you could not survive. You would not survive if you had certain failures. This spacecraft does not have those. It had black zones on entry before we refined that backup mode I mentioned, and now those are gone. So completely different, much different, much more difference than similarities in what we've done in the past.
And one other thing I wanted to add with that one's pad aborts, right? So we can abort from the pad all the way up through orbit. So that capability is great, and we're on the tippity top end, so we'll be okay. Not going to say that ride's going to be super calm, but we'll be okay. Also, I just want to say, like, these are three very, very different spacecraft, and I think it's really an honor to be able to use the experience that we had in the shuttle program, the Soyuz program, and bring that experience into a brand new program. Sort of like I was talking about earlier, hopefully the decisions and the thought process philosophies that we have worked with our engineers making this spacecraft and creating the operational concepts are legacy from those other two programs, and trying to make the best of programs that we've experienced before. So why do the same thing twice? Let's do something different every single time.
My interview with Butch and Sonny. Now, want to also mention the astronauts on this mission have a total objective of testing out the spacecraft while it is in space, and they're going to do a number of maneuvers on the way to the space station and during their visit as well as on the return. Now, this spacecraft is unique in the fact that it will land with bags underneath, and it will land in the deserts out in the west. Now, also, it's the first spacecraft that has a reusable heat shield. So they're going to be watching all of these things as they come back to Earth as well on this test flight. It's an amazing machine. It has a lot of redundancy, as Butch was saying in the interview there as well. So I can probably say that this is going to be a very interesting mission, because this is the sixth time that we have actually had a brand new spacecraft to be tested in the history of manned spaceflight. Well, our coverage will continue from the Kennedy Space Center as we look at the countdown clock. At about 12 minutes from now, we hope to launch Starliner. America and the world is listening to About Space Today.
Everyone in my family went on a Carnival cruise. Maggie didn't come though, because she's a dog. Mom did things I've never seen her do. Dad was himself, and I met this girl who was pretty cool, I guess. My best friend! Then I saw a bird. Hi.
Cool bird.
And Dad told us to put on sunscreen, and we had the best time together. Please don't tell my parents I said that.
Come to the land of orange groves and palm trees. Come to the land of theme parks. Come to the land of sunny beaches and the azure waters of the Atlantic Ocean. So come and visit Florida for lasting memories. Email us. Email david.ddcruiseandtours@gmail.com or call D&D Cruise and Tours at 877 747-8631 for your next family, cruise, or theme park vacation. Let us provide you your next visit with our travel experience, not experimentation. We are members of IATAN and CLIA. Email david.ddcruiseandtours@gmail.com. Serving the Southeast, traveler since 1985. And welcome back. The crew arm is now being retracted from the spacecraft, and that is an excellent sign as the countdown continues. We're about 9 minutes and 50 seconds at this point from the launch of Starliner. Now, this is the fifth launch date announced within a month. The first date was originally targeted for May the 6th for the Starliner, but at last-minute anomaly with the Atlas rocket's pressure valves delayed the crew test flight on that date. They went to May the 17th. Just days before the launch, Starliner team detected a small helium leak in the spacecraft's service module, prompting them to push the launch to May the 21st before they announced we're going to delay this indefinitely. A day or so later, and during this period, engineers and the teams were supposed to be fixing the small gas leak on the spacecraft. Rather than fixing one of the issues, NASA Boeing crew decided to proceed with flying the astronaut crew on the leaky Starliner spacecraft. So they decided it was not a major issue. They had a number of options. They could turn this valve off and on. It's a thruster, and it's used in re-entry. So they have a way to control the amount of gas. Even if it went to 100%, they say they could let it run because there's up to 5, I guess they would say gallons in the tank. So they're not going to run out of the helium necessary to come back to Earth. So we are continuing our countdown. We are about 8 minutes away. And Boeing has developed their own type of spacesuit. And so I will tell you, it's kind of interesting because Boeing's colors are blue. And they are going to wear the blue spacesuits on this mission, but they're very, very unique. So the astronauts had a chance to talk a little bit about the spacesuits during a news conference.
Of a spacesuit.
Sonny?
I really like these suits. I think you saw a picture of it in the beginning when in the advertisement, or the beginning part when you saw us both there. They're really nice, slick, comfortable suits, easy to get in and easy to get out of, allow a lot of mobility. We worked with the company, David Clark, through Boeing to get the suits squared away for us, and we really like them. I think they're really nice. They're a little bit new and interesting insofar as the helmet, which you probably saw or maybe didn't see because it was laying behind us. We actually flip it over our head, and then there's a zipper to close it. But that's not totally uncommon. We have a pressure zipper on our ACES suits from Shuttle, and this is something that we also have to close up the suit. So it's not too out of the ordinary. It's just a little bit different from what folks have seen. It's not a second or a separate part that you connect onto the suits, but super comfortable.
Yeah, I think they probably put that helmet the way they did because I keep having this recurring dream that it's launch time and I can't find my helmet. So the helmet attached, it just, as you said, zips up and it's all ready and good to go. Great suit.
I don't know. And welcome back. And it's interesting that they're going to be kind of suited up like that. Now, I think Sonny mentioned that this was nothing new with the helmet that flips over their heads with zippers. That technology was developed for the Space Shuttle program as well. Now, these are flight suits, and there's a big difference that they've been developing, as you saw, with the SpaceX suits as well as these. These are flight suits that are used for launch and return. They are not spacesuits that you would take outside of the spacecraft. That is a totally different situation. Now, this summer, we're going to see a launch with 4 astronauts. It will be a private commercial mission. They will be, for the first time, well, I'm not saying commercial, but a private mission. The astronauts will actually depressurize a Falcon spacecraft and go on the first spacewalk. That's going to be very interesting, that are not really NASA astronauts. So it's called Polaris Dawn. It is going to be commanded by Jarek Isaacman, who is a millionaire, and there will be 3 other people on board from the program itself. So we hope that you will join us for that as well. So these spacesuits, everybody's developing something new. And I think the new technology that's coming out, particularly with SpaceX, is you're going to create now, we're going to have lots of people going into space, going to the moon, going eventually to Mars. So they're going to have a spacesuit that you just would custom design one by one, but something you could basically mass produce, and that would work for all of the programs. So all of these various companies are looking at designs now to use both on the moon and Mars. So there's a lot of technology being processed as we advance of this particular Starliner and its uniqueness as well. We will have the redundancy, as I mentioned, if NASA certifies the Boeing Crew Transportation System, that will eventually have every 6 months, we'll have a SpaceX, and then they would also have Starliner. So we have that redundancy for the first time to go into low Earth orbit to our own space station. So that is a tremendous advantage for us. And as well as the opportunity to have perhaps 2 different spacecrafts of the linked at the same time as well. And they are escape vehicles, and they're safety vehicles. You've probably heard the astronauts talk a little bit about moving the space station, because there's a lot of space junk out there. What happens if? So in the event that something is near them, they will go to the spacecrafts, both the Soviets as well as the Americans, and they use the spacecraft for an emergency escape vehicle. We are coming up at 3 minutes before, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We are go for launch at this point. There would have automatically been a 4-minute hold. That has not been done. So we are go for liftoff at this point. So if we could take a minute, let's go and take a look at the rocket on the launch pad there. And before we go to that, okay, before we go to that, we could do a quick thing. A lot of people have asked about the, a lot of people have asked about the families themselves. Well, what are the crew going to
3
do?
minutes.
And so we had a chance also during the news conference,
Pressurizing
as one
application.
of the questions came up.
Securing LO2 topping.
Okay, we'll take our next question from here in the room. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Jackie Goddard for the Times of London newspaper. So while you two are up there working hard and going through all the
Should we have
tasks
not
that
done
you
that?
have to do and keeping busy, there are folks left behind who might be worrying about you, and I wonder how you prepare your families for what you're going off to do, and especially through that roller coaster that you've had
That's
in
good.
terms of
Let's go to
safety and the
launch
flight
control.
tests and the
Beautiful.
getting
I
everything
think it's going very
you know
well,
battened down tight safety-wise. Can you talk us through a little bit about what it's been like for your families and how you've prepared them? Thank you.
Yeah, I speak for my family quickly. I'd say it's probably in the same position. Our families have been a part of this from the beginning.
Yep.
My wife and I were met when I was already in the Navy deploying on aircraft carriers. My daughters were born after we got here. This is all they know. So this is life. This is not something yet. Daddy's going to space again. Well, actually, it is kind of like that. Yeah, he's going to go. He's going to. That's just what they know. So as far as preparing them, they're prepared. We trust in a sovereign God that's going to, whatever the plan is, we're ready for it, whatever that might be. And so, yeah, they're excited as we are and ready to go as well.
Yeah, my husband has also been part of this for quite some time. He was also in the Navy, and we both deployed. So I think he's used to having one of us go at some point in time, and the other one stay home and take care of the yard and the bills and things like that. I'm sorry to do that to you, Mike, but it's going to be what it's going to be, and he knows it, and it's okay. He's been seen both in my time frame since 2015 working with both SpaceX and Boeing company. He's heard, because I go home and you talk about, hey, this is going on there, this is going on there. He's heard that this is developmental, and he knows that. He knew it when I was a test pilot. Also, I actually tested the helicopter that both of us flew. So he knew the ins and outs of the problems that could go on with an aircraft test. So he knows the ins and outs of problems that could happen with spacecraft test. But we wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't feel and tell our families that we feel confident in this spacecraft and our capabilities to control it and to be on it. So I think they're along for the ride, and they, at least in my family, they're excited. You know, they haven't been to KSC.
Try it again. Welcome back. We are now within just seconds from launch, and we will go to launch control at this point.
Houston, Starliner roll. Roger, roll. Got a good throttle up. Good throttle. Good SRB burnout. Good SRB. Good handle. Good handle. CLT and net, good trajectory. CLT.
It's no, that's the liquid oxygen LOX burning off there, coming off the rocket itself. They have just announced that the trajectory is a good trajectory and they're on their way. And NASA has just announced, ULA, they have a perfect trajectory and they are on their way. That's a beautiful view that we're seeing from the rocket itself. Again, a lot of the ice falling off, but a spectacular view of the Florida coastline as we go on a beautiful trajectory out. I think that one of the most amazing things the astronauts talk about is this very fine blue thin layer that you can see there, and that's the protecting our atmosphere. That's it, this fine blue layer. Every astronaut that you talk to says that was one of the most spectacular things to see as they looked back to the Earth.
Staging. ECAL's open. You have sublimator act.
ECAL sub-act. Great Atlas.
OSM LC. Adjust security roadblocks for pad access control. And dispatch team to complex 41 in preparation.
Staging was good. You have good control.
Good control.
Starliner, you had good booster performance. You're up to plus 31.
Plus 31.
We're waiting for more video from the Starliner spacecraft and the second stage there, the Centaur burning. And let's dump it. Okay, let's do it. Yep, I guess so. Well, we are now on our way to orbit and on the way to the International Space Station as well. Our coverage of the launch of Starliner's crew flight test will continue after these messages.
I'm so excited to take on the most sweetest job at sea, Chief Culinary Officer for America's favorite cruise line. I'm really looking forward to helping bring new, exciting, and unique flavors to the Carnival cruise experience. This is not only going to be delicious, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. Emeril Lagasse, Carnival's new Chief Culinary Officer. It does have a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Like, BAM!
Hey, it's the good old summertime, and time to think about a Florida beach vacation. Well, D&D Cruise and Tours is the official travel agent for About Space Today, and we want to invite you to come and see the Space Coast this summer. Our hotels are just steps away to our beautiful sun-bleached beaches and the azure waters of the Atlantic Ocean. And we're just minutes from the cruise port with many hotels offering free or reduced parking. And maybe you'll want to come and see and visit the Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex. And maybe just relax to the sound of the waves crashing along our shorelines. Call D&D Cruise and Tours at 877-747-8631 and come and see the Space Coast. That's okay. And welcome back. The Starliner spacecraft is on its way to orbit. We will have expecting main engine cutoff at any time, but at this point, the astronauts in the Starliner spacecraft are comfortable. They are now in command virtually. They can take command at any time rather than just to fly automatically to the space station. That was one of the requirements that NASA had. But they are on their way into orbit. They will dock tomorrow with the International Space Station. They're carrying 760 pounds of various cargo, including some personal items. We did know that Butch and Sonny will be carrying some individual T-shirts. One for Butch at University of Tennessee, and Sonny is carrying one for the United States Naval Academy as well. So those are some of the kind of things that they'll be carrying up there personally, as well as NASA flying some items as well, as some coins and memorabilia. So on their way to the International Space Station, it's been a long, long journey, and we're excited as they are to launch the Starliner. This mission will demonstrate the end-to-end capabilities of the Starliner spacecraft, from launch to docking and a return to Earth in the deserts in the Southwest United States. Well, on behalf of the entire About Space Today team and our producer, John Gomez, thank you for joining our coverage for the launch of Boeing Starliner spacecraft. I'm David Denault.
This has been a special report from About Space Today.